So in eukaryotes, the process is a bit more complex. The cell is going to go through a process called the cell cycle. It has several parts to it. We're going to go through this in this presentation. The cell spends most of its time in the stage called interphase, which is seen in the red arrow here. It's divided into 3 subphases. And then in the orange region here, we have the mitotic phase, in which the nucleus is divided, which we call the mitosis. And then the cytoplasm divides into 2 new cells, which is called cytokinesis. Interphase is divided into 3 phases, 3 stages. The first one is called G1. G stands for gap. Here the cell has just completed division, so the cell is going to grow. It's going to be biochemically active, but there's no other changes that are going to be evident in its gap phase. The next phase is called the S phase, and S stands for synthesis. It's during this phase that the DNA molecules are going to copy themselves and get ready for cell division. The S phase is followed by a second gap phase called G2. Here the cell is going to kind of recover from making the chromosomes, replenish energy, get organelles reproduced so that there's enough organelles to keep 2 new cells alive, and then it'll proceed into cell division. Once the cell has finished interphase, it goes into cell division, which we call mitotic phase. It's divided into 2 phases. There's the mitosis, which is where the nucleus divides, and cytokinesis, where the cytoplasm in the cell itself divides. So the 2 phases of mitosis are seen here. There's what we call karyokinesis, which normally we call this mitosis. And this is specifically the nucleus that's dividing, but not necessarily the cell. And then in the second part of mitosis, we have cytokinesis, where the actual cytoplasm separates into 2 separate daughter cells. So this is an introduction to the cell cycle. We have the interphase, which is where the cell spends most of its time, divided into 3 subphases, G1, S, and G2. And then it goes into mitosis, cell division, and cytokinesis. And we'll talk about these in more detail in the next presentation.